Well, I work in two different mediums. Number one, I work in clay. So I do a lot of hand building, a lot of hand coiling, and I also work in pen and ink designs on paper. My clay work, my pottery work, it is definitely tied into my culture. I am half Pueblo of Isleta from New Mexico and half Navajo. Okay, we are southwestern people. There are 19 different Pueblo people in the Southwest. And the Pueblo people of the Southwest, we have a very long, rich history in working with the different elements of Mother Earth, clay, vegetation, water, air, fire, and other elements and other resources that Mother Earth provides. And we've been utilizing these materials and creating hand-built, hand-coiled, hand-painted pottery that serve many different purposes for our people. And this particular art form, our people have been practicing it from generations to generations, going back hundreds of years, even thousands of years, to our ancestors who were the first people to live and reside in the Southwest, which are the Anasazi people, or the ancient ones. So along this long time span, our people have cultivated and have practiced the art of pottery making, and we have created a very rich history, and today are considered one of the finest practitioners within this particular medium of working in clay. So clay definitely has a tie-in to my culture, and also the motifs, the designs, the patterns that I use throughout my body of work. They're all representations of the natural world that you see out there in the Southwest. The designs, the motifs, they're representations of traditional Southwestern Pueblo elements, patterns, and designs that all reflect and represent the nature, Mother Earth, and all that Mother Earth provides. So that's how my work is definitely related into or connects to my Native American culture. Of course, when you're working with clay, yes, clay does lean itself to uses of utilitarian purposes, functional purposes. Clay has that ability for that type of use, but also there's this balance between having functional utilitarian wear, also pieces that are aesthetically pleasing as well. So when I'm working with clay, you're thinking about these two kind of ideas being married together. For our people, during the times of our ancestors, the Anasazi, which was around 800 to 1200 AD, was the height of their civilization. This was what we refer to as the pottery age. So everything that was used within their culture, cups, plates, bowls, canteens, water jars, storage vessels, all these were made out of clay. So, they all had a functional purpose. And that's really important when you think about working in clay. You want it to have some type of functionality to it. You want to be able to utilize it in some particular way or manner. But also at the same time, you're thinking about artistic design and applications and aesthetics. So yeah, with clay, you definitely have that ability to bring those two ideas and those two concepts together within the work. I have a couple pieces here, what I consider my plates on panels. Okay, with clay, we normally think, when we work in clay, we normally think of clay representing three-dimensional pieces or works of art. But with clay, I like to bring a two-dimensional aspect to it. One way of that I go about achieving that is making plates and mounting them on boards. I also like to utilize different materials during this whole process. So there's a couple pieces here within the exhibit where I created plates that are handmade and that are hand painted, and they're mounted onto wooden panels. So, you have this idea of having wall hanging pieces made out of clay. And one of the pieces that I made here for the show, that is in the show, also brings in different materials into the mix as well. Nails, wood, metal pieces. So, my ceramic pieces are not just ceramics per se, but they're also branching out into different mediums and different aesthetics, and different materials. Yeah, I have several drawings here. The drawings I have here are my pen and ink designs on paper. So with my pen and ink designs, these are all hand-drawn pieces. It's all freehand work. So when I approach my pen and ink designs on paper, I have no idea of what is going to transpire within the work. That's one of the great things about working in this process, is you don't really have a certain idea of what's going to happen. You lay down a shape, and then from that shape, things start to evolve and things start to grow. And so my pen and ink designs, they're all hand drawn. It's all freehand work. When I approach my work, I don't use rulers or stencils or anything like that. I try to rely on just my eye and just on my basic hand skills in the whole process of my pen and ink designs. And the pen and ink designs, they represent, all the designs, the elements, again, they represent, traditional Pueblo, Southwestern patterns and motifs, but there's also other elements that I'm bringing into the work as well. And how I lay out the work too kind of gives it more, not quite a traditional feel, but also maybe a little bit more contemporary. And so that's what you will see within the pen and ink work within the exhibit. I'm so honored to be part of this group, this network of Native American artists here in Southern California. And it's always great to show here in Long Beach, Signal Hill, the Long Beach area. When I first started showing and exhibiting my work, one of my first stops and one of my first areas, or where I was able to show my work, was at the Long Beach Museum of Art. So it's great to always come back to Long Beach. I grew up in North Long Beach, so I'm very familiar with this community. Long Beach is a very diverse community. It's has this wonderful cultural landscape to it. So yeah, and it's great to be part of this whole Greenlee art space, which I've never shown here. I wasn't really aware of it was here. And it's such a wonderful little gallery space here in Signal Hill. So, and I look forward to the opening of the event and just meeting a lot more of these artists here and making more connections and getting to know more of the different artists here that are in the exhibit.